Did you know that there is a letter written by Jesus Christ that mysteriously disappeared? This is the letter involving King Abgar V of Edessa. Imagine the emotion and impact of a direct correspondence between Jesus and a pagan king. Why would Jesus have written to a distant king? What message did he want to convey? And most importantly, what happened to that letter? Before continuing, I'll give you a quick message. Want a chance to win our book, Achieve Abundance with God's Blessing? Then subscribe to the Cantos Divinos channel and participate in our weekly draw exclusive to subscribers. To compete, simply be registered, like the video, and leave your comment. Sign up now and good luck. Let's start by understanding the historical context of this intriguing letter. The Kingdom of Edessa, also known as Osroene, was located in what is now southeastern Turkey. This region, located between the Roman Empire and the Parthian Empire, played a significant strategic and cultural role in antiquity. Edessa was a prosperous city and an important center of commerce, known for its cultural and religious diversity. King Abgar V, known as Abgar the Black, reigned in Edessa during the early 1st century AD. He is described as a wise and pious ruler who sought to protect and promote the well-being of his people. The story goes that Abgar fell seriously ill, suffering from an incurable disease, which led him to desperately seek help. In this context, the legend of the card begins to take shape. King Abgar, upon hearing about the miracles and healings performed by Jesus in Jerusalem, decided to send a letter to Jesus, begging for his help and healing. This act of faith and desperation illustrates the impact that reports about Jesus were already having beyond the borders of Judea. Jesus' response to Abgar's letter is equally fascinating. According to tradition, Jesus wrote back to the king, promising to send one of his disciples to heal him and bring the gospel message to Edessa. This correspondence, although shrouded in mystery, is a testimony to the reach of Jesus' message and the hope he brought to many people. As we explore this letter, we will discover not only the historical veracity of the events, but also the spiritual and cultural impact this story has had over the centuries. Let's dive into the evidence and interpretations, and reflect on the deep meaning this letter may have had for early Christians and even today. The exact content of the letter varies depending on sources, but it is generally described as a heartfelt plea from the king, acknowledging Jesus as the Son of God and asking for his divine intervention. In response, Jesus reportedly wrote back to King Abgar, promising to send one of his disciples to heal him and bring the gospel message to Edessa. This correspondence, although not recorded in canonical biblical texts, is mentioned in several ancient sources, including the writings of Eusebius of Caesarea, a 4th century church historian. Here are some excerpts from the supposed letter of King Abgar V of Edessa to Jesus, with some quotes that show the king's plea and faith.
O Jesus, called Christ, I have heard of your great miracles, and of the healing you bring to the afflicted. I, Abgar, king of Edessa, beg your help, for I suffer from an illness that no doctor can cure. Come to me and give me your mercy. They say that you are the Son of God, the one who has the power to cure all diseases and set captives free. I, who have no other refuge, ask you to look upon me with compassion and come to my kingdom, so that may I know your power and be healed. Abgar, the ruler of Edessa, writes to you, Jesus of Nazareth. Although I do not know you personally, your fame has reached my ears. With faith in your name, I beseech you not to ignore my request. Come to me and relieve my suffering. Great is your mercy, O Jesus, and infinite is your power. In you I have placed all my hope of healing. I beg you, with all my heart, to come to this distant land and grant me the grace of your presence and your healing. The reports of your miracles are like a light in my darkness. Lord, I ask you not to abandon me in my despair. Come to Edessa, and I promise to honor you and proclaim your greatness to all my subjects.
Jesus' response is considered a message of hope and faith. According to legend, he told King Abgar that although he could not go to Edessa in person, he would send one of his disciples after his ascension. This disciple would be Thaddeus, one of the 70 disciples mentioned in the Gospel of Luke. Thaddeus went to Edessa and, according to tradition, healed the king and began evangelization in the region. establishing a Christian community that would last for centuries. Here are some excerpts from Jesus' supposed letter to King Abgar V of Edessa.
Abgar, king of Edessa, I have heard your plea and the desire of your heart. Although I cannot come to your city in person, I send you the promise of healing and salvation. Trust in me and my word, and I will send one of my disciples to bring you the good news and healing you so long for. Great is your faith. Your belief in divine power will not go unnoticed. Just as you have sought healing with fervor, you will also be healed by faith. Prepare your heart and your people to receive the one I send in my name, for he will bring you peace and health. The pain and suffering you experience is known to me. I have come to bring relief to those who are afflicted and hope to those in despair. Remain steadfast in your faith, for great will be your reward. My grace and mercy will be with you. Abgar, your humility in seeking help from the Son of Man will be rewarded. Soon your request will be granted, and your faith will be a witness to many. I send to you Thaddeus, one of my servants, who will bring healing and proclaim the kingdom of God in your land. Fear not, for I am with you. Although I cannot be physically present, my spirit will always be with you, strengthening and guiding you. The faith you have placed in me will be the key to your healing and transformation.
Jesus' letter to King Abgar is fascinating not only for its spiritual content but also for its historical implications. The correspondence between Jesus and Abgar suggests a direct connection between Jesus and Gentile rulers, an idea that echoes the universal mission of Christianity. Furthermore, this story highlights the faith of Abgar, who did not hesitate to seek help beyond the boundaries of his traditional belief, illustrating the strength of faith and hope in times of despair. But what is the evidence for this correspondence? The first known mention of the letter appears in the writings of Eusebius of Caesarea. In his work, Ecclesiastical History, Eusebio claims to have found records of the correspondence in Edessa's archive. However, the authenticity of these documents has been debated by scholars for centuries. Some believe the charter is a later creation, intended to legitimize evangelization in Edessa and the Christian presence in the region. In addition to Eusebius, other ancient texts mention correspondence. The doctrine of Adai, a Syriac text from the 4th or 5th century, also relates the story of the letter, adding details about the mission of the disciple Thaddeus in Edessa. According to this text, Thaddeus not only healed King Abgar, but also preached the gospel in the city, converting many to Christianity. However, as with Eusebius's writings, the historical veracity of these accounts is questioned. Over the years, archaeologists and historians have searched for physical evidence that could confirm or refute the letter's legend. However, to date, no conclusive proof has been found. The absence of tangible evidence leaves the story in the realm of legend and tradition, but this does not diminish its cultural and spiritual impact. The correspondence between Jesus and Abgar has become an integral part of the Eastern Christian tradition and continues to be a powerful narrative about faith, hope, and miracles. The letter also raises interesting questions about the spread of Christianity in the early centuries. Legend suggests that Jesus' message spread quickly beyond the borders of Judea, even reaching neighboring kingdoms. This reflects the expansive and inclusive nature of early Christianity, which sought to reach all nations and peoples with the message of salvation. The historical analysis of this legend allows us to better understand how religious narratives are constructed and used to strengthen the faith and identity of religious communities. Even without concrete evidence, the story of Jesus' letter to King Abgar offers a window into the mindset and aspirations of early Christians. She shows us how faith in miracles and divine intervention was a central component of religious experience, and how these stories helped shape the identity of Christian communities. Regardless of the historical veracity of the letter, its spiritual and cultural significance is undeniable. It represents the hope of healing and salvation that is at the heart of the Christian message. King Abgar, who desperately seeks Jesus' help, resonates with all who have faced moments of despair and sought comfort in faith. Regardless, Jesus' letter to King Abgar became an important element of Eastern Christian tradition. It symbolizes hope and unshakable faith in Jesus as healer and savior. Furthermore, it highlights the message that faith transcends borders and that the search for God is a universal journey. She reminds us that faith and hope can lead to miracles, and that the search for divine help is a common feature of the human experience. Even though the card is seen as legend by some, it carries a powerful message about the connection between the divine and humanity, and the importance of seeking healing and salvation in times of despair. The figure of King Abgar, desperately seeking help, represents all those who, in times of distress, turn to faith in search of comfort and healing. The letter reminds us that faith transcends geographical and cultural borders, reaching those who are willing to believe in the power of Jesus. Jesus' response to King Abgar, promising to send one of his disciples to heal him, symbolizes the message of hope he brought to the world. This promise was not just for King Abgar, but for all who seek spiritual and physical healing through faith. History teaches us that even in the most difficult situations, there is hope, and that divine intervention can come in unexpected ways. Furthermore, the letter highlights the importance of persevering faith. King Abgar not only heard about Jesus but took the initiative to seek his help, showing active and trusting faith. This is a powerful reminder to all of us about the importance of not only believing but also acting on our faith. Seeking God in prayer, asking for his intervention, and believing in his promises are fundamental steps on the spiritual journey. We invite you to think about the meaning of this legend in your own life. How do faith and hope influence your actions and decisions? How do you seek divine presence in times of difficulty? Abgar and Jesus' letter is a powerful reminder that faith can sustain us and that the search for God is an ongoing journey. And for those of you who are interested in biblical curiosities and wisdom, we leave here one of our most impactful videos. See the letter in which Joseph of Arimathea describes Jesus perfectly. This is the letter that the world needs to know, and you will be impacted by it. Click and follow. Thank you again for your attention, and may you remain under God's grace. See you soon.